Good evening, everyone. This is April 24th, Sunday. And I thought I'm going to start sharing my story. I told my daughter I was going to start journaling via this avenue. Let me start by saying I am the survivor of same-sex domestic violence. And not a lot of people speak about that, but it's out there. And it's real. And that went off. My abuse started in 2013. Well, it started in 2011, 2012. But 2013, I had to actually leave the state and walk away from my family, my beautiful, beautiful children, adult children, and go hide and leave my beautiful farmhouse behind. It had to be sold immediately because I couldn't afford to take care of that on top of being in another state hiding. I had to hide with my severely disabled son who had autism, severe autism. And it was the hardest time in my life to date. I don't think I even a little bit thought I would survive. And I did, and my son did. And I met some amazing people through that. And learned a lot of lessons. But upon returning back to Maine, because I wanted to be closer to my family, I moved around a bit, trying to get my son closer to schools that would be good for him. So forth, so on. Met a few people. My abuser came back into the situation, but supposedly as a friend. I am so tired of hearing the word as a friend. That didn't go well. I did find an apartment in Bath, Maine for my son and it was beautiful, and it was right near a school that he needed and I needed him to have. And we did really well. We stayed there 2 years. And I don't know what happened. I guess I got squirrely and wanted to be closer to my family. So I moved back to Ellsworth for 2 years with Sean. Took him back to Stillwater. And I think I did that because I was seeking out my history. Like, that's where all my kids were. Of course, I couldn't go back to my farmhouse that had been sold. But I was trying to find that past that was missing after the abuse. I never found it. Once you survive domestic violence like that, I don't think you ever quite recover. You don't. You change. You change from it. It changes you. So after 2 years in Ellsworth, I heard that my old apartment came back available in Bath, and I jumped on it to get Sean back down to Pathway School and to get us back to the beach and where we were, because I felt something different there. And so we did. We got the apartment back. A little bit more money, but we got it back, and we settled in. I got Sean to school. And we settled in for a couple years there. And we did pretty good overall. I mean, I was in the parenting mode, which was not good for Sean. But I think from my trauma, whenever Sean would throw a fit or get loud, I would just give him what he needed just to keep quiet. That was not the best parenting skill for my son, as we learned as time went on. But the point of this story, and there's a lot more to my surviving that abuse, and I really am going to get more into that as I get further into these videos of what I survived and whom I survived from. I won't give her name specifically, but she's already made herself pretty well known because she did it to another person. And again, I have no hard feelings. I think I've made my peace with that and actually helped her out when she ended up doing jail time for the other person. Not to help her out because she deserved it, but to help her out because I needed closure. And believe me, I got closure when I just the reality of who she was. Um, all that time that I thought her obsession with me was love, and her stalking me, and her brutalizing and telling people horrible stories about me, and having people attack me, freaking literally call me and attack me, um, or stalk me even. She had people following me. I thought that was love, a sick love, but love. But as I saw her with this other person and doing the exact same thing, but yet reaching out to me to help her, um, she was going to kill herself and all these things. As I watched this madness at a different point of view, wasn't aimed towards me, it was aimed at the new target. I was surprisingly shocked that and realized that it was never love. What she did had nothing to do with me, and it was never to do with love. It was about her, her needs that needed to be filled, which is why there was so much craziness and late nights of the dragging me out of bed and breaking down my doors and all this stuff that I now look back and go, whew, wow. One, why did I put up with that? Just a little backstory. I did treatment level foster care for 20 some years, and I took in birth moms who were abused with their babies. I took the babies with them to help them get back on their feet and to learn not to be abused. And then I meet this woman who was an ex-cop, all these things, and didn't see it. Didn't see it. But anyways, so I go on with that. And that's part one of this whole story. I do keep saying I'm going to write a book, and I really need to write a book about the abuse, same-sex abuse. It's just not talked about much. When I went to get help, just so you know, during the domestic violence, the police literally, this one particular cop from the Hancock County Sheriff's Department, basically thought we two women just needed to get along. Those were his exact words. And then he said, "There's two sides to every story, ma'am." And I was over there with bruises on my arms, a broken door. But there's two sides to every story, ma'am.